Welcome, everybody. I'm Rob Mann, and I definitely have opinions.
I'm Raymond Pennie, and I'm still trying to get ready to have opinions.
You're going to have a meeting to prepare a meeting to have a meeting about opinions. I like it. I like where this is going. That sounds very corporate of you, Mr. Penny. Anyway, guys, we're going to have a new format today. We're actually going to have our first guest, friend of the program, friend of both of ours.
Friend of
I mean,
everyone.
yeah, I mean, he would like to be, and you can meet him and his digital worker, even though there's not there's usually like a stuffed animal or a figurine of his digital worker behind him. But we have our friend over from Meet Dwight on. So what do you do? Here's the joke: what happens when a American, a Scottish man, and a Belgian go into a bar? And hopefully we'll be able to answer that by the end of the episode. Dries, what's going on, buddy?
I didn't know the bar was in play as well today, Rob, but yeah, very well, thank you, and thanks for having me.
Well, I mean, you guys are, it's, 2 p.m. London time, so you guys could be, for me, it's still 9:15 on that, East Coast. So I'm not ready for a Bloody
5
Mary
p.m.
today.
something.
I have to pick up the baby early from daycare, so I'm on dad duty for like a good 6 or 7 hours, so that would not be pleasant. Um, anyway, so Dries, if you're not familiar with Meet Dwight, they are the with the capital THE, definite article, not indefinite. Uh, Basically provider of digital workers. Some random fan just went on in my house and it's causing a lot of background noise. Hopefully you guys can't hear it. So he's, digital workers, back office. He started as a chatbot, realized that those were one and a penny, and decided that he had something way cooler to build. And so, Dries, how are you first? And what's new with Meet Dwight? Give us a quick 1 minute overview of what's new. I have some questions for you, by the way.
Yeah, sure. I'm very well. As I said earlier, the business is doing very well too. So obviously heading into summer months, but despite of that, trading's been good. So in terms of what's new, as you mentioned, we historically have been building digital workers for people, focused on middle and back office, and typically where we need to go between different platforms. So that's normally where staffing agencies will have people doing the work because systems don't talk to each other, and that's where our digital workers kind of come in, is to work across that. So onboarding, compliance, credentialing, all the way into VMS platforms, in and out of those, whether it's submitting candidates, extracting time card information, payroll, invoicing, much, much more. But the bit that's really fairly new is we've now somewhat pivoted what we do. We still offer what I've just described, but we've also brought to market the Dwight Studio, which is essentially allowing people now to build their own digital workers over these various platforms, but in a much more agile kind of way. And ultimately, really, we're going against all the noise you're hearing currently of the heart attack, shall I say, of AI token consumption and how expensive that is getting. And we think, as does the market, it's only going to get more and more expensive. So essentially, what you're able to do within the platform is build those digital workers yourself without consuming those expensive AI tokens.
Amazing. So basically, you're going to allow these firms to build as many agents as they need to help do things, or workers, not agents necessarily. A little bit different. All right. So first question for you is, maybe, and this is not actually one that Claude wrote, this is just mine. What are people missing as the infrastructure of a digital worker? Like, yeah, you can go build an AI agent in Claude, you can go build a website in Claude, but like, what are they missing that's probably a glaring issue or maybe security issue for them?
Well, I think it's probably similar answer for Kylo and us both, right? Which is really a lot of those kind of applications are not yet enterprise grade ready. And therefore, when you look at a lot of the agents out there, don't get me wrong, I use Big C, as I call him, Claude, extensively. I really do. But ultimately, when it comes to some of the use cases I mentioned earlier, like onboarding, compliance, credentialing, all those kind of things, which again, both markets that both organizations play in, you can't afford for an agent to go and make decisions that are potentially erroneous, and with all the consequences that follow from that, right? So I think that's the main thing, Rob. It's almost, where we help is really translating that everyone wants to do something where they are, because everyone principally is bought into this is going to help productivity, it's going to help save costs, but the how is often somewhat unclear. People still don't really know where and how they should apply it. And we've got very practical use cases, essentially, that help you do that, where, again, typically it's people heavy. But the main thing I would say is people need to be really, really aware. And I think that awareness is building now of one, bots can go rogue, they can hallucinate, because mostly when people talk about agents or AI, they're actually talking about large language models. So that's one. And secondly, the cost of it. So again, there are stories out there of Microsoft's canceling their Claude subscription, Uber eating through their annual budget in 4 months, and stories of people that have been replaced, and yet the tokens are costing more than the people that were doing the work. So they're the kind of watch out areas.
Raymond, you want to share your price story from earlier, your social media post from this week about your cost of?
We work on Claude Team or Anthropic Team plan, and works well. And in order to get more visibility to its usage, you have to go to Enterprise. And we currently got 50 people at 20 quid a head, so about £1,000. In pricing up for Enterprise, it suggested that the monthly rate would go 3 to 17x. So we said, you know what, maybe we'll just ask people what they're doing with it.
Yeah. Or extract the data and then have one instance of Claude analyze it for you.
Kind of crazy. So from 1,000 to potentially 17,000, which is
insane.
All right. Dries, so I did a little research, and one of the things that's predicting being missing from these people deploying digital workers is monitoring them and being able to look what's going right, what's going wrong. So I know you guys have the ability to see it, but as you're thinking about this, what do you think and I asked you before, what's the security implications of building something yourself without a Dwight Studio or an enterprise tool?
I mean, the probably indirect answer is look at what the likes of OpenAI have said, which is, we have checked, and some of our bots have gone and hacked other companies without us knowing. So, so there you go. So it does go to show, and again, stress the importance of having that strong governance and visibility layer within the platform. I think that probably answers your question, Rob.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I just guys, security is a big issue, and even just general monitoring, what it's doing. I did the Make platform that we were using, Dries, over at Glide when I was there, where I was analyzing it. The error log was actually really powerful as it was running code or running AI prompts. There was a really good running error log or AI, log of what was happening. So big fan. All right. Do we think that this was maybe for both of you? Do we think that we're going to get out of generalized AI agent wrappers and get into more specialized one, thinking recruiting or sales or for you, Dries, you have the worker in the back office helping with moving data that might be repetitive for a human, but what do we think is coming in the future? Specialized.
Well, for the early adopter, they already have that. It's already there. And that's what makes it maybe quite so complicated for people to buy, because there are agents in each of those areas. You've got your generalized agent, which is Claude or Copilot or Insert Codex, and all the other tools. I've avoided all the Chinese ones for the moment. And that's great for vibe coding. And then you've got people there's a guy did a demo to me this week of a screening tool. It was absolutely amazing. I dug into his business. There's 2 of them. And therefore, I didn't quite get to the SOC 2 questions that would normally be the next stage of any customer's inquiry. But hey, he's done great. He's making money, and he's got a very, very focused single use case. And I hope he does well. So I think it's already there.
Already niche down.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I would say, well, if you look at a lot of AI companies, they're actually built on their wrapper around the Anthropics or the OpenAIs, right?
Of course.
I would say that the technology obviously is ever evolving, but the technology is there to be generalist, and then really it's down to the people that are building on that to come up with the use cases. So in our case, it is all our own IP. But then, to your point, we've come up with some of the use cases specific for staffing. As it happens, we've got clients in, for example, health and social care that are starting to use it too, because the tooling is applicable everywhere. It's just, it does need people to kind of understand the use case and then be able to solve for it within that tooling.
Like, all right.
And I think if you read the latest thinking, the model companies are, you guys aren't old enough, but if you remember when people were laying tables between Asia and the US, global crossing, they spent so much capital in creating the connection between Asia and America, but ultimately went bust. The people who made all the profit were the people who ran apps on top of the internet connectivity. And hey, maybe that's something that might happen with the models. There's lots being put into how to teach the model, and then individual use cases that people can buy that are tried and tested is maybe the app layer that's going to be successful.
I think, for practically speaking, what you're seeing, again, to Raymond's point, is you have those organizations that basically, in your analogy, build the apps. In our case, we're actually talking about people that basically they build, we call it nano components. So it's like a reusable automation that then can be copy and pasted to be reused elsewhere in their business, or, to your point, Raymond, why not resell it, right? And actually take it to market.
I think that makes sense. I think that the investment into these platforms is crazy. And here, like, even if you are, like, Raymond's going to pay 10 grand for his company to use, let's just call it, like, cut it in the middle. Raymond's going to pay 10 grand. Is that enough to recap the billions of dollars that have been sunk? And like just the salaries alone of these people who are working in AI are insane. Is that sustainable? Is that like the cost of laying cable across, like, I think the Mariana Trench in the Atlantic, but same idea, right? Like laying cable across that entire vast ocean. It's crazy. All right. Maybe an easier question, Dries, and this is actually based off of Raymond's and I's conversation. This one totally off digital workers. Will we have another set of layoffs that are blamed on AI, but are really just cost cutting? Like are we doing it every week?
I think it's being done every week, and it's just easy. I mean, if you're publicly listed, of course that's going to be the reason you give, right? Because you don't want to say, actually, we're struggling and therefore we need to cut costs. You want to say, we're not, we're actually looking to make the business more profitable, yada, 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 and therefore we are making layoffs. And so I think that, unfortunately, is going to continue as a reason, as far as I can see. Don't get me wrong, there's definite gains to be had with AI that obviously lead to those kind of efficiencies. But yeah, it's also absolutely being used and abused as an excuse.
Yeah, that was Raymond and I were just like, it's kind of gross. It's also, I mean, people in mass are stupid, let's just be honest. And so, like, we're lying to them about how, like, the strength of the economy or these businesses. It's just like, it's kind of misleading your investors if you're publicly traded.
Yeah, but again, why are they doing it? It is because they are publicly traded. So
yeah, they need to show.
Confidence is everything. Because the flip side, you've seen lots of good businesses that traded very poorly on the back of a erroneous rumor and just absolutely tanked. So I get it. I definitely don't agree with it. Yeah, it's an interesting game there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like misleading the public, right, or misleading your investors. I'm pretty sure that's violation of the SEC in some way, shape, or form. At least on our side of the pond. I'm sure that you guys have more rules and regulations around it as well. So, okay. Unrelated to that question, I just was curious. It's bothering me a lot. But okay. So, Dries, you are a veteran of staffing tech. Where do you see us going in the next 3 months and 3 years? Raymond, same question to you, because that's always fascinating to ask Raymond.
He's got way more experience than I have in this space,
I
by
know,
the way.
But you've got a decade plus.
Just
You got a
I'm old.
decade plus. It's enough.
I'd
only
say I'm a
asking for
relative
3 years.
relative newbie coming from more the human capital management space than maybe staffing directly.
Okay. Raymond's
In terms of next,
Raymond manages humans all the time and
he
agents.
sure does. Real diverse workforce is what we're talking about, right? In terms of the next 3 months, I don't think, from my perspective, things will dramatically change, but you never know. I think if you look at staffing, not to offend anyone, but historically hasn't really been the trendsetter when it comes to adopting new technologies. So I think really what we're talking about is the acceleration we're seeing it in our business, and I think it's a reflection of the wider market to a degree, is an acceleration of adoption. So a real hockey stick. Now that people, it's not so new anymore. When we started, 2-3 years ago, digital workers weren't a thing. We had to explain it to everyone. Now you have some bigger players in the sector talking about digital workers, which, by the way, what they do is different to what we do, and the two sit very nicely together. I'm talking about Bullhorn in particular. But as a term, it's becoming much more adopted. So people are more comfortable with it. To Raymond's point earlier, I think the larger organizations are more ready to embrace it, albeit that they do want to see those kind of compliance ticks in the box, which again for us has been a huge help to have that. So I think it comes down to adoption, Rob, just acceleration of adoption. I don't think we're going to see anything dramatically new in the next 3 months to a year in the space. It'd be great if it does happen, and obviously it's impossible to predict.
3 years? Still too far, you think? You gotta give me
3
something.
years. I mean, the big thing I'm advocating is with now the kind of coming up of these kind of tools like the Dwight Studio. I'm saying to staffing agencies, software businesses right now are trying to shift from per seat SaaS type charging to agentic outcome based charging. And especially at scale, you can see why they are doing it. It's like
Problematic.
moving from on-prem to SaaS. They can just make more money by doing it. Now, what I'm saying to staffing agencies, if you're looking at certain sectors and segments of the market, like administrative work, why let the software businesses have all the fun? You could be building the agents yourself and monetize those out and actually make it part of your proposition. So not only can you place people into your customers, but you could also place, as part of that kind of diverse workforce, digital workers, because ultimately you as a staffing agency will understand your customer far better than a generic software business. So that's the thing that I would like to see happen. Whether or not it will in the next 1, 2, 3 years, we'll have to wait and see.
Raymond's doing it already. He's trying to deploy agents for people.
My 3-month guess, it would be the 7th of November, and I think people will be in the midst of the hardest budgeting season they've ever done, because they're going to be doing budgets for 2027, particularly people who do calendar, and they're going to have to answer the question, how much should I spend in 2027 on AI? And the answer should be a lot. The question will be, what do we save and when do we save it? And the answer will be, we don't really know. And
So
there may be paths that some of the easier things, I write in this week's Substack about things that you've already outsourced being easier to replace by agents because you haven't seen them. You've maybe already gone to low cost economy, then you can move to a lower cost AI agent of some variety. At the same time as Anthropic, OpenAI, et cetera, are going to be trying to go public, and they're going to need their revenue numbers to go up. So there's going to be a proper challenge on how much it costs to have successful agents, and the justification in budgets for the next year is going to be really, really hard. So if you're in a finance function right now doing the budget, guess what? Just make a guess. But if it isn't double, it needs to be 3 times.
If I may as well, I think that the challenge is actually even greater. So I absolutely agree with what you're saying, but the challenge is really, to your point, I think, with the floating of some of these big businesses, or anticipated, is you actually don't know. It's so blinking opaque that, the first question will be, what should the adoption look like? And people have good answers to that. What should we spend? We'd like to spend this. What are we actually going to need to spend? No one really knows, because the cost of AI tokens, it's so opaque that it's really hard to answer.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would say for all those listening, however much you spend on LinkedIn, be ready to spend the same on some part of AI.
Scary, Raymond.
Yeah, but it's
A big number.
how much do you rely on LinkedIn? Rely the same on AI, and you won't be far off. You won't like it, but you won't be far off. 3 years is a funky time. 3 years takes us to like middle end of 2026, 2029, sorry, and therefore, we'll have AGI, we'll have ASI, we'll have data centers in space. Token costs will have fallen through the floor because they'll be dropping from the sky. Intelligence will be free, and you will have businesses and jobs that we've never heard of being perfectly normal. I remember back to when social media managers became a job title and nobody knew what it was, and now either everyone's got one or it's a significant part of every marketing manager's job. Let's imagine there's an AI manager, and that AI manager is a combination of IT, ops manager, insert all the other business systems jobs. And I think that electricity will be free. I think tokens will be free because they'll be falling out of the sky. So productivity will be crazy, and everyone will have a company of their own.
Raymond, AI doesn't grow on trees, bro.
It's going to be powered by the sun and all
there we
in
go.
the sky.
I like it.
And cooled by the oceans. I think that's where they're going next with data centers.
Well, space is pretty cold. Last time I checked.
Yeah, it's a bit harder though.
Do you think? Listen, there's the two most corrosive things on the planet: water and and air. So, one way or another, you're gonna pay. And I don't know if you've ever seen a riverbed. It didn't start that way. Or a shoreline. Okay. Great answers, by the way, guys. That's fantastic.
I just thought I'd be more controversial. Dries was traditional.
Dries it's just his Belgian sensibilities. You got a rogue Scottish guy and a Belgian. That's the answer. What happens at the bar? This guy orders a beer. Actually, he orders a beer. He orders a whiskey, and I order tequila.
Might be rum on my part, Rob. I think I'm
Are you
actually
doing rum? Okay.
If there's such a thing as a Caribbean Belgian, then you're looking at him.
I like it. That's why you keep coming to Miami. There's stuff.
That in the office.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you picked the office on purpose. I'm assuming it's because it's the free state of Florida, quote quote.
It's to be close to you. I mean, we told you this already.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, Raymond, next time you come over, Raymond comes to South Florida all the time too. By the way, so the both of you, we can go fishing together.
Nah.
What do you mean no?
Nah.
It was 4 hours. It was fantastic.
Nah.
Reese almost got skunked, and then he went on a rip.
You can catch it, I'll eat it.
That's fair too. Anyway, I had all the ones that we caught. So, all right, Dries, has been fantastic. Everyone can find you. Meet Dwight on LinkedIn. MeetDwight.com. If you have any questions about it, feel free to ping them to me. Raymond can answer them, but he's probably going to tell you to buy Kylo. So just be aware.
Yeah. Just do something. Don't be doing nothing.
Yeah, not surprising. Yeah, but anyway, guys, Digital Workers Studio, back office, repetitive tasks. That's what Meet Dwight is solving. If you don't know what Kylo's solving, they do a lot of things with Bullhorn.
We'll be fine.
Anything with Bullhorn is really where it is. And yeah, I just try to educate you guys because it's a lot easier to ingest this than it is to try and sit through an hour demo. So there you go. All right, y'all. Thank you. Thank you for tuning into R-Cubed, where Rob and Raymond talk recruitment, AI automation, same stuff, training. If you found anything of use in this episode, if you learned something, if we made you think, if you're going to bring something back to your team, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. We appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy. Cheers.